What if one small act of kindness could flip your entire life upside down? Stay with me, because this story of a guy with nothing but a few bucks and a big heart will hit you right in the feels and leave you stunned by its incredible twist. This isn't just another feel-good tale, it's a roller coaster of struggle, compassion, and a payoff so wild it'll make you rethink everything you know about giving. We're diving deep into the life of Sam, a man who's barely holding it together but still finds a way to help a stranger in need. What he gets in return? Let's just say it's bigger than anything you could dream up. By the end of this, you'll see how the tiniest gesture can spark a chain reaction that changes lives forever. So, buckle up, and let's jump into this unforgettable journey. Imagine a chilly morning in a big city, the kind where the air stings your face, and the streets are buzzing with people rushing to work or school. The sidewalks are packed, horns are blaring, and everyone's got somewhere to be. In the middle of this chaos is Sam, our guy, trudging along with his head down, trying to stay warm. He's in his late 20s, wearing sneakers so worn you can see his socks through the holes. His jacket's frayed at the cuffs, patched up with duct tape from a tear last winter. Sam's not living the dream, he's barely scraping by. Odd jobs like delivering pizzas or cleaning houses keep him afloat, but just barely. His bank account's so low it's practically mocking him. And his fridge? It's got a half-empty ketchup bottle and some questionable leftovers, nothing else. Sam's got this old backpack slung over one shoulder, carrying everything he owns: a couple of shirts, a toothbrush, and a notebook where he scribbles his thoughts when life gets heavy. He's not homeless, but he's teetering on the edge. Rent's due in a week, and all he's got is 12 in crumpled bills stuffed in his pocket. Sounds like a rough spot, doesn't it? But Sam's not the type to sit around feeling sorry for himself. He's got this quiet strength, like a tree that bends in the wind but never breaks. He keeps moving, keeps hustling, because that's just who he is. Life hasn't been kind to Sam. He grew up in a small town, raised by a single mom who worked 2 jobs to keep food on the table. He learned early on that nothing comes easy, but he also learned the value of kindness. His mom used to say, "You give what you can, even when it hurts, because that's what makes you human." Those words stuck with him. Even now, as he's dodging cracks in the sidewalk, trying to figure out how he's going to make it through the week. So, Sam's walking past this narrow alley, tucked between a coffee shop and a pawn store, when he hears a sound that stops him cold, a rough, hacking cough, the kind that sounds like it's been carrying pain for years. He pauses, looks around, and spots a guy sitting on a piece of cardboard, his back against a grimy brick wall. Let's call this stranger Marcus. He's older, maybe in his 50s, but it's hard to tell because life's been rough on him. His clothes are tattered, a mix of mismatched layers that don't quite keep out the cold. His face is weathered, like a map of every hard day he's lived through. And his eyes? They're hollow, like hope packed up and left a long time ago. In front of him is a paper cup with a few coins rattling inside, not even enough for a small coffee. Now, most people would keep walking. It's easier to look away, to pretend you didn't see, especially when you're barely holding it together yourself. But Sam's not most people. He's been down enough to know what it feels like to be invisible, to walk through a world where no one seems to care. So, he stops, crouches down to Marcus's level, and says, "Hey man, you okay?" His voice is soft but real, like he actually wants to know. Marcus doesn't answer right away, just nods, his eyes flickering with surprise that someone's even talking to him. Sam notices the way Marcus's hands tremble, not just from the cold but from hunger, the kind that gnaws at your insides and makes you feel less than human. Sam reaches into his pocket and pulls out his 12, all of it. He knows this is his grocery money, his bus fare, his everything for the next few days. But something in his gut tells him this moment is bigger than his own problems. He hands the crumpled bills to Marcus and says, "Get yourself something warm to eat, all right? Take care of yourself." Marcus stares at the money like it's a lifeline, then looks up at Sam, his voice barely above a whisper. "Why are you doing this? You don't even know me." Sam just shrugs, a half smile on his face. "Because I can," he says, and with that, he stands up and walks away, leaving Marcus clutching the bills like they're the first bit of kindness he's felt in years. Let's take a step back here. What Sam did wasn't just about handing over a few bucks. It was about seeing someone the world had stopped seeing. According to a 2023 report by the National Low-Income Housing Coalition, over 580 people in the U.S. are homeless on any given night. That's more than 500,000 stories like Marcus's people who've been pushed to the edges, forgotten by a system that's supposed to help. When you're homeless, it's not just about not having a roof. It's about feeling like you don't exist. Sam's small act of kindness was like tossing a pebble into a still pond. It sent ripples outward, touching lives in ways he couldn't even imagine. Marcus takes the 12 and shuffles to a nearby diner, one of those old-school spots with greasy tables and a jukebox that's been broken since the 90s. Sam watches from a distance, making sure Marcus gets there okay, then turns and keeps walking. His stomach's growling, and there's a knot of worry in his chest. That 12 was supposed to buy him ramen and maybe a loaf of bread to last the week. Now he's got nothing. But even as the worry creeps in, there's this tiny spark of warmth in his heart, like he knows he did something right, even if it hurts. Days go by, and Sam's back to his grind. He picks up extra shifts at a warehouse, hauling boxes until his back aches. He's eating whatever's cheapest, think 99-cent cans of soup and day-old bread from the bakery's discount bin. He doesn't think much about Marcus after that day. Life's too loud, too demanding. But what Sam doesn't know is that his small act of kindness is about to come back to him in a way that'll turn his world upside down. Fast forward a week, and things are looking grim for Sam. His landlord's not playing around, rent's overdue, and the guy's leaving voicemails that sound more like threats than reminders. Sam's working double shifts, but the money's just not adding up. He's barely sleeping, maybe 4 hours a night, and his body's starting to feel like it's running on fumes. You ever been in that spot where it feels like the universe is stacking the deck against you? That's where Sam's at. He's starting to wonder if he's ever going to catch a break, if all this hustling is even worth it. One night, he's walking home from a late shift, his breath fogging in the cold air. He passes that same alley where he met Marcus, and there's no one there now, just the piece of cardboard, soggy from last night's rain. Sam stops, stares at it, and feels this heavy pang in his chest. Did he make a difference? Was giving up his last 12 worth it? Or was he just a fool for thinking one small act could matter? Doubt starts creeping in, whispering that maybe he's just not cut out for this world, that maybe he's destined to keep struggling forever. Sam's not alone in feeling this way. A 2024 study from the Pew Research Center found that 62% of Americans living below the poverty line report feeling hopeless at least once a month. That's a lot of people carrying the same weight Sam's got on his shoulders. He's not just fighting for rent money, he's fighting to believe that there's something better out there, that life's got more to offer than this endless grind. Here's where the story takes a turn you won't see coming. A few days later, Sam's at that same diner where he sent Marcus, treating himself to a coffee he can barely afford. He's sitting at the counter, stirring in a packet of sugar, trying to make the moment last. The diner's quiet, just the hum of the fluorescent lights and the clink of dishes in the back. Then, the door swings open, and in walks a guy who looks like he just stepped out of a business magazine. Sharp suit, polished shoes, the kind of confidence that makes heads turn. This is James Whitaker, and he's got a presence that fills the room. James scans the diner, spots Sam, and walks right over. "You, Sam?" he asks, his voice calm but curious, like he's sizing Sam up. Sam's thrown off, his coffee cup frozen halfway to his mouth. Yeah. Who are you?" he says, trying to figure out what's going on. James smiles, pulls out a sleek business card, and slides it across the counter. It reads, "James Whitaker, CEO, Whitaker Enterprises." Sam's brain is doing backflips. Why is a big shot like this talking to him? James leans in, his eyes steady, and says, "I heard about what you did for my brother." "Brother?" Sam's completely lost now. James explains, and it's like the pieces of a puzzle start snapping together. Marcus isn't just some guy on the street, he's James Whitaker's older brother. Marcus had a good life once, a steady job, a family, the whole deal. But a string of bad breaks, losing his job, battling addiction, and a messy divorce sent him spiraling. He ended up on the streets, too proud to reach out to his family, too broken to ask for help. James had been searching for him for years. hiring private investigators, checking shelters. But Marcus was a ghost. That 12 Sam gave Marcus? It wasn't just about buying a hot meal. It was a moment of human connection that gave Marcus the courage to pick up a phone and call his brother. That small act of kindness, that tiny gesture, that $12 Sam gave Marcus? It wasn't just about buying a hot meal. It was a moment of human connection that gave Marcus the courage to pick up a phone and call his brother. That small act of kindness, that tiny gesture, was the spark that brought Marcus back to his family. James looks at Sam, his voice thick with emotion. "You didn't just help Marcus," he says. "You gave me my brother back. I owe you more than you'll ever know." Now, hold on to your seat, because this is where the story goes from heartwarming to downright mind-blowing. James doesn't just thank Sam and walk away. He pulls out a chair, sits down, and says, "I want you to work for me." Sam's thinking this is some kind of joke, but James is dead serious. He's not offering some low-level gig either. It's a real position at Whitaker Enterprises, a multi-million-dollar company that deals in everything from tech to real estate. The job comes with a six-figure salary, health benefits, and a corner office with a view that make your jaw drop. Sam's sitting there, coffee gone cold, trying to process what's happening. A week ago, he was counting pennies. Now he's being handed a ticket to a whole new life. "You've got heart," James tells him. "That's rarer than you think. I need people like you on my team." Sam's head is spinning, but it's not just about the money. It's about what this moment means. That $12 he gave Marcus wasn't just a handout, it was a choice, a leap of faith that set off a chain reaction. Marcus is back with his family now, getting the help he needs to rebuild his life. Sam's got a shot at a future he never even dared to dream about. And it all started with a single moment of kindness in a cold, forgotten alley. Let's zoom out for a second and look at the bigger picture. This story isn't just about Sam and Marcus, it's about what happens when we choose to care, even when it's hard. A 2021 study from the University of Chicago found that small acts of kindness can boost happiness and reduce stress, not just for the person receiving the kindness, but for the giver too. When Sam gave Marcus that money, he wasn't just helping someone eat, he was creating a connection, a spark that lit up both their lives in ways he couldn't have predicted. Think about how many times we walk past someone in need because we're too busy, too broke, or just too scared to get involved. Sam's story shows us that you don't need to be rich or powerful to make a difference. Sometimes, it's the people with the least who give the most. A 2022 report from the National Coalition for the Homeless showed that 70% of homeless individuals reported receiving help from strangers at least once, and those moments of kindness often gave them the strength to keep going. Sam's $12 was more than money. It was a reminder to Marcus that he wasn't invisible, that he still mattered. And here's the wild part. Kindness doesn't just help the person on the receiving end. A 2020 study from the Journal of Positive Psychology found that people who perform acts of kindness report higher life satisfaction and lower rates of depression. Sam didn't know it when he handed over that money, but he was investing in his own happiness too. His story proves that kindness is like a boomerang, it comes back to you, sometimes in ways you'd never expect. So, what's the big takeaway here? Sam's life changed because he chose to stop, to see, to give when he had almost nothing left. That $12 wasn't just cash, it was a bridge between two people, a spark that ignited a whole new chapter for both of them. This story isn't just a warm, fuzzy moment, it's a wake-up call. Kindness isn't some fluffy idea, it's a force, a game changer that can rewrite lives, including your own. Next time you're out there, rushing through your day, maybe slow down for a second. Look around. You never know who's waiting for a moment of kindness, or how that moment might come back to you. The world's a messy, complicated place, but stories like Sam's show us that even the smallest act can create a ripple effect bigger than you'd ever believe. So, go out there and be someone's Sam. You might just change a life, yours included. If this story hits you in the heart, check out the next video on your screen. It's another wild tale you won't want to miss.